Welcome to the Construction Entrepreneur Podcast, the place for exactly that. If you're in construction, you own a business, and you're an entrepreneurial minded person, this is exactly the place for you to be. It's all about having more profit, being a better leader, having a really good reputation, and really going a really solid business. That is the aim of the podcast. It is exactly for that type of person. So if that's you, you are in the right place. Now, if you're new to this channel, you've not heard of me before, you're new to the podcast, this is episode 1 going out. My name's Dean Barton. Look, I've been in building and construction for over 20 years. I started at 13, labouring, lifting shit and just getting by, making some money, earning a few quid. I then set up my own building and a residential refurbishment company, doing extensions, kitchens, bathrooms, refurbs, all jobs like that. 50 grand job was a massive job and a big deal for me at the time. But I reached a ceiling, and then I actually joined a commercial contracting business. I did a deal basically on a profit share and actually came into a bigger business that was currently doing around 3 million at the time. We then grew that business to over 10 million pounds a year in revenue. And now I invest in property and development deals. And now one of the things that I do is the Construction Entrepreneur Mastermind, which is the place for people who are like me back when I needed the information, I needed the knowledge, I needed the training of actually training business owners how to grow their business, be more profitable, be a better marketer, build a really well-oiled machine, the whole thing. So it covers all of that stuff. So it's really nice for me now to actually go back and actually take people that were in my shoes and actually speed that journey up, take 5-10 years out of it and actually really speed it up. So this is really where I want to train and educate people, because the industry, construction is a dinosaur. It is left behind compared to a lot of other industries. It's not a very sexy industry to be in right now. It's got its issues, it's got its problems. It's a difficult industry to be in, let's be honest. Anyone who's worked in it for a long time knows it's a difficult industry to be in. It's tough running jobs, it's tough running lads, it's tough winning work. It's brutal and it writes people off. 16,000 companies every year in the construction industry sector go bust, they disappear. And, it's a problem. It is a real problem. So the whole point of this podcast, for long-term followers who follow me on Instagram, I've had a page set up for the last year just giving out free advice and knowledge and info and just helping people basically. The podcast is the next level on from that, and we'll sort of unpack more stuff as we go. So here's how the podcast will actually work. Every week I'll unpack a topic. So it's going to be very raw, just fucking straight up, no bullshit. I'll unpack a topic and go, right, this is what's worked for me, actual, not theory, like a lot of people do on the internet. It's actual stuff that works. It's worked for me and then worked for clients as well. So I know it works today. It's current. It's exactly what you guys fucking need to exactly that. Grow a bigger business, make more money from it and just be more successful as an entrepreneur and actually get what you want out of your fucking business. Because I think people sort of lose the sight on business is just a fucking vehicle to get you what you want. That's why you started a business, because you didn't want to fucking take and eat shit from someone else. You want to start a business to be different from everyone else because you want a lot fucking more. You want more out of your life. You want more money. You want more options. You want more freedom. You want more choice. Whatever fucking label you want to put it on, that is what drives an entrepreneur, a person who sets up a business because you fucking want more on some level. So that is what it's all about. And it's just going to unpack really good, helpful topics every week. No filtered, just straight up from me, no bollocks, direct to it, okay? So it won't be long. It's just, right, this is what we're going to fucking talk about. And this is what you can implement to actually grow and move your business forward. So if that's cool, today I want to cover off basically construction and entrepreneurship as two halves, because that's the name of the podcast. It's named as my mastermind as well. So let's just tick that off, because construction gets a bad rap. Construction's got a bad name. It's got a name in the industry of being dirty work. It's for thick people. It's shit work. Why would you want to do that? But there is massive opportunity. The demand and supply curve of any industry is all about demand and supply. So if there's lack of supply, the demand is really high. And because there's not enough people going into the industry, it means there's a lack of supply. But the demand is always there. The building in any country in the world, but UK specifically, is built around construction. It's the backbone of the economy. When COVID happened, the fucking dreaded bullshit COVID scenario happened, what did they prop up the country with? Construction. They kept construction moving and going because it's a fucking huge contributor to the GDP, the total economy of the UK. If they let that fucking go as well, the country would be fucking bankrupt. So construction is always a solid business vehicle to be in. And I think people fucking don't realise that and appreciate that. It is fucking solid. It's always going to be needed. It's people's homes, it's fucking schools, it's hotels, it's stadiums, it's fucking infrastructure. It is never ever, there's never ever going to be a point in time when construction is going to die as an industry compared to other industries. You know, some industries come and go, they change, they move. You know, if you go into a recession, it's always like things like restaurants that get hit quite hard because people don't go out and not spending money as much. But construction is always a constant, solid, fucking needed thing. So I want to really make that clear to people that are on the fence of maybe, is construction right for me? Yes, it fucking is. And people that are thinking about construction, it's a fucking great vehicle to be in. Really is. But if you know what you're doing, so that's the aim of the podcast, is to get the right information so you know what you do need to do. So you know what you need to do, you know what you're doing, and you fucking put it to work and you fucking blow it up. And it's exactly that. So the demand and supply is actually an opportunity for the people in this industry right now, because you're going to be able to charge more money because there's not as many people doing it, and you're going to be able to have a really good business because the competition is going to be less. So the opportunity is there. It really is a solid business vehicle. You know, bricks and mortar, steady, repeatable, always going to be in demand. It's not a hype thing. It's not something new that's going to come and go. If you build a business and you stick your fucking feet in the ground and set up the foundations, you know, you build a really good brand, you build a really good team, you build really good systems and processes around that, you make really good money, you just do that for long enough, it's going to give you the money you want, it's going to give you the opportunities you want, it's going to open up doors that you want later on, and it's going to allow you to actually have the life that you fucking want. So I want to make that really fucking clear, okay? And it's a lot more than just labour construction. You know, I think people view it as just, well, you just fucking bang some shit up, you dig a hole, you fucking build an extension, you fucking throw some shit on the walls. It's skilled for one, very skilled work, but there's a lot more to it running a construction business than people realise. You know, it's a very high stress environment. You're dealing with, let's be honest, some fucking thick people. Contractors are fucking hard to run with. You're dealing with tricky customers who are, in all fairness, spending the largest sums of money they're probably ever going to spend. Most of the time, people are getting work done because they've remortgaged, or they've had a big bonus at work, or someone's died, they've got inheritance, and they're spending a large sum of money on their house or their property or their business. They're reinvesting back into offices, or, you know, whatever. You know, people are spending a lot of money, but there's a lot to it. You need to be a switched on fucking cookie to run a business in this. You know, it's a lot harder than people make out. You've got a lot of spinning plates, and it takes a very skilled, high stress tolerance individual to run a business in this industry. And I think that is massively overlooked. You have got to deal with a lot of crap, and you've got to keep rolling with the punches, and it's always moving because you're always building a physical product somewhere. The location is always different, the way you're doing it's always different, the specs always different, the design's always different. Shit goes wrong all the time on every job. No job ever is priced perfectly. This is how the job's going to run, and this is how long it's going to take, and it's delivered exactly to that. It's constant moving variables. It's not like other industries, you know, when you're just shipping out goods from a warehouse. It's easy. Someone orders it, you send it out, done. People go to a restaurant, they order this, all the food's prepped, you just fucking put it on, you cook it, you know, you do it. There's a lot more to it than people realise. So it doesn't get the respect that I think it deserves. And this is the whole point of this. You know, I'm saying to you guys listening to this, you're going to be in construction, I'll give you my respect, because it's fucking brutal. And I know a lot of people that have been burnt out by the industry. They've left the industry because they couldn't hack it, because they didn't know what they were doing, and they just didn't have the skills to be able to fucking get through it and push on. So it provides, you know, this industry provides. It's provided for me. It's given me opportunities. Don't get me wrong. I made a lot of mistakes earlier on. Still make mistakes today. You know, it's constantly, you're always learning, you're always evolving, but it has provided for me. It's given me a life that allows me to have choices and freedom. It's given me a life that's allowed me to invest in property. It's given me a life that's allowed me to get to where I want to get to. But now for me, it's more the next level and the moving on, and now actually fucking training other people and helping other people and building a massive network of people below me and with me to fucking do a lot more together as a whole. So it continues to provide, you know, it allows you to fucking move and provide and push on. And that's what it's all about, really, because let's be honest, we've all got, if you're an entrepreneurial mind, you've got things that you want, whether that's, you know, some people are into cars, some people are into watches, some people are into holidays, some people are just genuinely into their kids and don't care about any nice stuff. But on some level, we all like shit. We all like nice, shiny shit. We want to do stuff. We want to go to nice places. But then beyond that, you know, it can provide a lot more as well. It can provide things like security, retirement. The government's never, ever going to fucking give you that. You know, we've just done it with my in-laws. Their retirement pension is like £700 a month. Why the fuck would you rely on the government for retirement? But if you're smart in this industry, it can be very tax efficient. You can buy properties, they can cash flow. You know, it can provide in many fucking ways. And we'll unpack all these different topics. I'm spinning off a lot of different stuff on here, but we'll unpack all that stuff. The next thing I want to talk about in construction is the state of the apprentices. Young people coming in with fucking shit attitudes of me. Whereas when I started, it was fucking no gloves, no specs, dig that hole, see you later. Smash up bricks by hand to use as fucking type 1 to fill in holes and shit and swimming pools and all sorts of brutal fucking work. But it was brutal work that taught you hard work pays off, which you're going to have to work fucking hard in this industry, but you need to work hard and smart as well. And I think that's where a lot of people go wrong. They're stuck in the work hard, but you want to be working smart on the things that actually move the business forward, that make money and actually make a difference and actually get new customers in and, you know, actually grow the business. But pair that working smart with working hard. That's what we really want. And it's a challenge for us guys, you know, at the minute, you know, bringing apprentices in, it's going to be hard to find the young guys. Recruitment is a big challenge. It's a cornerstone of problems in the industry. But if you are a really good leader, you run a really good business, you've got a really good brand, you've got a much better chance of attracting the right people in the first place. And they are out there. They're still out there. You've just got to find them. And that's the challenge. But we'll talk through that and how we can like really make that a bit easier for you guys. The next thing I wanted to talk about was construction is not really current, which is part of the motivation of what I do now on Instagram and socials and obviously this podcast, is that it's not cool to be in construction. And I think that's the root cause of the problem why young people don't want to get into it, because a lot of other industries have blown up on the internet. You know, YouTube people following, you know, in terms of saying, right, do this and you can have an easy life. You can be a YouTuber. You can toss it off at home in your pants all day and just eat fucking cereal and, you know, fucking make this online, which is total bollocks. Look, there's a lot of people out there that do make money online very easily, but there's a lot of fucking scam artists out there selling people a dream on cheaper, easier, quicker industries to be in, where a lot of it is bullshit. 99% of it is absolute bullshit and tosh. So I think we've got a job to do as, not just me, it's you yourself as well, running a construction business, to promote the industry. We've got to promote the industry and make it cool again. Now, it is quite cool, actually, when you strip back from construction, like when you see buildings being built and the way stuff's being done, it's fucking clever as fuck. I love it. You know, I love watching stuff take shape. I'm that minded. I grew up enjoying to build things like Lego, and I still enjoy that now, to be honest. But the people are still out there that like building stuff, so we just got to make it cool and bring it into the industry. So the more people that are growing really good businesses and showcasing what you're doing, what you're building, how you're building it, what you're doing and what you're up to all over the place, the more we're going to attract people in. Whereas the dinosaurs in the industry, most construction businesses are owned by people that are 40, 50, 60. They're way out of this world. They don't understand all this shit. A lot of them don't even go on YouTube. They don't even listen to podcasts. We are a new era, a new wave of people that can fucking change the game. So I need more of you doing it. I need more of you growing social media followings to actually change the game. And the thing is, you just change it by one at a time. The more people that get involved, the more we can change the stigma and the outlook on construction. Now next, entrepreneurs. Now today, it's cool to be an entrepreneur. It's like the fucking buzzwords. Every Tom, Dick and fucking Harry is an entrepreneur. Everyone wants to call themselves an entrepreneur because it sounds cool, but it's misunderstood. It is really fucking misunderstood. Entrepreneurship is not for the faint-hearted. Running a business is not for the faint-hearted. It is fucking brutal. Most businesses don't make it for that exact reason. Things will go against you all the time. Even when you've done all the right things and you've really put your best foot forward, shit will still go wrong. And it's a kick in the dick. And not everyone can tolerate that. And entrepreneurship is a lot more to it than what people give it credit for. But the world needs them. And the way that the country is at the minute, it's in a fucking shit state with the debt from COVID, shit leadership. All the wealthy are leaving the country. It's a massive issue because when the wealth leaves, there's less money in the country, and then they fucking set up businesses elsewhere. They employ other people in other countries. It's a dangerous position for the UK at the moment, and you can see why people are pissing off left, right and centre. But the country needs entrepreneurships to start the economy. Like, the economy is run and revolves around the small businesses. You know, the small businesses that are paying people, so they've got their money to then spend on food, go out and run it. It's a big fucking circle, but it all starts with entrepreneurs who take the fucking leap to set something up, take on the risk and the burden. And I actually Googled entrepreneur just to see what actually come up, because I've got my views on it as well. And when you Google entrepreneur, the result is a person who sets up a business taking on financial risk in the hope of profit. And I just thought that was a really strange way of putting it, because it's in the hope of profit. And I think a lot of people do, they hope for profit, but they never quite fucking make it because they don't know what they're doing, or there's a gap, they're doing the wrong things. And you don't want to be doing things for hope. An entrepreneur wants to do things to make money, but the reality is you're going to do a lot of things that don't make money. You're going to do a lot of things that are wrong. You're going to do a lot of things in the wrong order. You're going to get a lot of setbacks. You're going to get a lot of fucking problems. But if you stick with it and you fucking keep your head down and get the right education, get the right knowledge and do the work, like actually do the work, then you can make it, and then you can be a really good entrepreneur and call yourself that with a bit of fucking pride as well, because you're breaking the norm being an entrepreneur. You know, you're not like everyone else. You're not fucking going to a 9 to 5. You don't want to be told what to fucking do. You want to do your own fucking shit, make your own fucking way in life, and stand back and go, yeah, I did that. I fucking did that. And you've either got that or you haven't. And this is what fucks me off, is that people call themselves an entrepreneur when they haven't done anything. They haven't fucking done anything. And it's more they want the label of being it, but there's only a select few, really. If you actually go through all the people you know, who do you actually fucking know who's a genuine, actual entrepreneur? Has actually gone out, set something up, made some money from it, and he's still fucking doing it and working and evolving and growing all the fucking time. Changing and moving forward all the fucking time and adapting. Because most people, they don't adapt. They want to settle to the 20-year job, the 30-year job, the plan, retire, have fuck all, which is the worst fucking nightmare for me. So an entrepreneur for me is someone who gets what they want. Like they decide, right, this is what I want out of life, and this is what I need to do to get there. That's what an entrepreneur does. And the skill sets of a good entrepreneur is, number one, you're a good marketer. So you're able to, marketing is basically advertising and it's being known. So you are known as a fucking person. You're not hidden away. You are good at being known. You're good at being known from yourself, from a personal point of view, but you're good at being known from what your business does and who you are and how you help people, basically. You've got to be a great marketer to be a good entrepreneur. If no one knows you, no one can buy from you. So step one, you've got to be a great marketer. Followed number two, you've got to be a great salesman. And I think, especially in the UK, people have a stigma of a salesman. They imagine the DFS guy who comes out with a fucking 25-year-old shirt that was white one day and now it's shit beige. And he's got a mustache and he's just fucking, he's like a leech. He's got commission shit breath. Wants to sell you a fucking shit sofa. Whereas a salesman, a really good salesman, is someone who understands the customer, knows what they need, and gives them what they need. That's what a really good salesman is. It's like, what's the problem? What are you trying to achieve? What's in your way of doing that? And this is what we can do. So people look at construction and go, well, it's not really sales. It is sales. Like, if you're a good salesperson, you will win more work, undoubtedly. But it doesn't mean you need to be the high pressure person. It means you need to have the right brand, which is the marketing. Then you need to be great at communicating with clients and being a really good people person, understanding what they want, what drives them, and sell to them, which is all going to be linked with the pricing stage, which is something that I cover massively on other videos. But you've got to be a salesman to be a good entrepreneur, because if you can't sell something, you can't make any fucking money. Like, you make money when you sell something. So let's get that clear. Number 3, you've got to be a great leader, especially in construction. You've got to be able to lead your team. If you cannot lead your team, if you cannot have the awkward conversations, if you cannot get rid of some bad team members, you can't sack them, because sometimes that's the strength of a leader, is actually getting rid of the bad. You're not gonna survive. You're gonna find it really hard. So leadership skills are so important as a good entrepreneur in the construction industry. And you've got to have some commercial intellect. You've got to have some fucking wit about you to understand return on investment, investing money, putting money into something today to get money tomorrow or the next month or a year, pay the longer game. You've got to have that commercial intellect. You've got to know all your numbers on every single job you do. You've got to be fucking tracking costs on every single job you do. You've got to be doing profit and loss every single month on the business. And you need to be making the moves that are ultimately going to move you forwards and make you more fucking money. So you've got to have commercial intellect and savvy and fucking a bit of grit behind you to make the right decisions based on numbers, financials and actuals, and not emotion. I think that's so important. A lot of people operate from emotion and not fucking actual information and input and data. The next thing of a good entrepreneur is you see the opportunity. You've got to understand the opportunities, you see the gaps, and you see those opportunities and you fucking dominate those opportunities. You've got to be that type of person. You've got to be driven forward, and you take the calculated risks. You know, every decision you make, every business decision you make is based on, well, best case, this can happen. Worst case, this can happen. Am I happy with that? And if you're happy with the worst case, you make the decision, you move forward. If you're not happy with the worst case, you don't move forward. And you've got to be really good at understanding and taking calculated risks. You've got to recruit people. You've got to understand that you're going to have to get help. There's a big barrier of entrepreneurship is that you think you can do it all on your own. I could cover that topic all on its own myself. I used to be a bit more like that as well. You've got to understand that you need to bring in skill sets. You need to bring in people that plug the gaps for you, understand what you're good at. You're going to be, it's tough in construction, right? Because you're going to have to, when you're starting out, you've got to do everything yourself. You've got to be a marketer, you've got to be a salesman, you've got to price the jobs, you've got to run the jobs. You've got to then build a business. You've then got to look at the accounts. You're not going to be good at all of them, but you've got to be good enough to begin with to survive on your own, because you can't afford staff. But the minute you start making money, you need to assess and be aware of, right, what's my actual strengths as the business owner? What's my business strengths as the entrepreneur? Where are my gaps? And then who do I need to employ and recruit to bring in to help me do that? And the most expensive side of that is going to be the financial side, the commercial intellect, the training side of it, which is what the big part of Construction Entrepreneur Mastermind is, and the club that has developed from that is it plugs that gap really easily. But you've got to get in the mindset of that you need help. You fucking need help, and you need good people around you to build a team. No good business is built on just one person. And then lastly, you've got to have fun doing it. You've got to fucking, you know, the days when it does go shit, you've got to accept that, look it in the face and laugh and smile and move on. Because if you mope around and you dwell on things, it's just going to hold you back. You can't change stuff. So anything bad that happens, you've got to take it on the chin, brush it off, dust your shoulders off and move forwards. Get going again, move forward and just, you know, take the next day. It is what it is. You've got to have some fun doing it and enjoy the good times. But when the bad times happen and something goes wrong, it's just a lesson. You've got to understand it's just a lesson. It's just part of the journey that you've got to take. So have some fun doing it, because I did this a lot in the past where it was just so serious and so fucking driven on fucking doing more, making more money, that you forget to enjoy it and everything else becomes a bit disjointed. And before you know it, you're so driven just on that and you're not enjoying it. You start putting on weight, you start fucking drinking more, you start eating more shit. You're not having great good time at home with family and your partner and my wife. And you got to fucking just step back a little bit sometimes and actually enjoy the process. Because I'll tell you what, the biggest thing that I learned is the build phase is the most exciting part. I'm actually my best and the most thrilled, the most engaged in the build phase. Once you get to a level when you've got a lot of people below you, you're doing a lot of big business, it actually becomes a bit boring. Like the build phase is the best part. It's the most exciting part looking back for me. So have fun doing it, because it will go, you know, so enjoy it. You've got to enjoy that build phase. And like I say, it's not for everyone. Entrepreneurship is not for everyone. Not many people are cut out for it. Not many people have got the fucking grit the balls to stick it out and keep pushing on it is not for everyone. So you've really got to understand that yourself. And sometimes, a lot of times I speak to people, business owners, and I say, you shouldn't be in business. You should not be in business. You need to go and get a job. This is not for you, because you are going to spend 20 years fighting it, trying to be something that you're not. And it's a waste of your fucking time, where you could just go and work 8 till 4 from someone else, earn a really good day rate, probably earn more money, because a lot of people earn more money just working for somewhere else. It's not because it's not for them. They're not the right fucking people from it. And I think that brutal honesty needs to be had. If it's not for you, just get out of it. It's not for you. But for the guys listening to this, I know it's for you, because you would not be fucking listening to this podcast if you weren't really serious about it and you've got that level of determination in you and grit to go, yeah, I'm going to fucking make this work. This is the industry I'm in. Construction's a great vehicle. It's a great opportunity. I need to become the best entrepreneur, the best leader, the best manager, the best person I can be to use that vehicle to its advantage. And that is what it's all about. So there will be people that just don't get it. So when you are an entrepreneur, you're business minded, you want more, most of the time your family will not understand that. Your friends will not understand that. Your circle will not understand that. They just will not fucking get it. They will not get that you need to be up till midnight pricing a job. You need to be working late doing something. You need to invest money. You need to fucking take a risk. You need to take a gamble. You need to employ someone. They just will not fucking get it. So I think one of the lessons I want to put across to this today is, don't waste your time speaking to people about this stuff who don't get it, because you're going to get shit answers. You're going to get the wrong answers. There is no point speaking to people about this stuff that have no comprehension or experience in A, construction, and B, entrepreneurship, because they just don't fucking get it. So you're going to get really bad answers. The next thing is, there's going to be people who think they get it, the know-it-alls, and they don't get it fucking less than the other people who know they don't get it. There's people that fake it and go, yeah, well, it's easy for you because you're an entrepreneur and you've got a business, you've got loads of money, you got this, you got that. Look, when you're an entrepreneur, you get paid last. You've taken all the fucking risk, you've taken all the ball ache, you get paid last. Only when you figure it out and fix shit and fix problems and develop systems and develop structure, get enough work coming in, you're pricing it right, your marketing's good, your team's good. There's a lot of shit to fucking get right. But only then, when you get that bit right, then you start earning money. And that's when you earn the right. And people always look at it and go, the minute you've got a nice car, a nice house, or you're going on nice holidays, or you're treating yourself, people go, oh, look at you. You're fucking doing it. Ooh, someone's doing all right. And, oh, it's easy for you. What a load of fucking wank. Because you fucking put so much on the line to get there. It's the hours that people don't fucking see. And people are just so fucking naive. So you've got to be really, really selective who you spend your time with, who you're talking to as well. Because these people that don't get it, they're the people that are going to fucking drag you down. They're going to chat shit in your ear. Whereas you need people around you. I'm really big on this. You need people around you that are one, above you, ahead of you. And two, you need people on your level going through it. And they're the people you need to spend your time with. You need to ruthlessly review who the fuck you are spending your time with. Because they're going to drag you down or lift you up. And it's as simple as that, and it's as clear cut as that. And you need people around you that's going to push you as an entrepreneur, because it's tough at the top. It's lonely at the top. I've certainly had times when you just like, fucking hell, no one gets me, no one understands me. And it's really, really difficult. So you need the right people around you. So my message to you, listening to this, is episode 1 of the podcast. You are in the right vehicle. Have no doubt about it. You are in the right vehicle. This vehicle, this industry can give you everything you want. Do not think that you're in the wrong vehicle. It is the fucking fantastic vehicle to be in. It's a fantastic industry to be in. And to be honest, it's full of a lot of the best people I've ever met as well. Sometimes the decorators that I know, that are the scruffy guys, having a fag all the time, but they work their arse off. They're the most honest, genuine people you will ever meet. Whereas I've been in rooms and offices with people who are in the suits, they're high-flying executives, but they're the snakiest little fuckers you will ever meet in your life. And it's just a fucking weird one. Like, never trust a person in a suit, but the person who's got the decorating brush, he'll fucking protect you in your house and your family at any time, or come round and, you could call them at any time of the day and they'll fucking be there for you. So it's full of great people. It just needs great people, great entrepreneurs, great business minded people to push businesses forwards, to keep it fucking flowing. This industry pays. It's the backbone of the UK, like I say, so never lose sight of that. Focus for you on being a good entrepreneur, which is always going to revolve around your skills as a person, your mindset, like where your head is, where your nut is at, and your habits that you're doing daily. It's always going to revolve around that. That's how you're going to be a really good entrepreneur. So you've always got to be learning, you've always got to be evolving, always developing and pushing yourself forward. And listening to that voice in your head that says and knows that you want more, and you're not listening to the fucking drama, you're not listening to the news, you're not listening to your family, you're not listening to the bullshit. You're 100% focused on where you want the business to be. So you've got a business where you are today, and then you've got a vision of where you want that fucking business to be in 3, 5, 10 years time. And just never give in. If you never give in, you can never fail. So never ever give in. Never stop learning, never stop pushing. Even when things go fucking wrong, never ever give in. The information is out there now. There's a ton of free shit on my Instagram, and obviously there'll be a lot more coming on this podcast. From genuine experience, doing the wrong things, doing the right things, learning from really clever people. The whole thing is there. So the information is there now, but it's up to you to put it to fucking work and actually stick with it. So I've got loads and loads of information on my Instagram, like I say, at Dean Barton Real. YouTube as well, at Dean Barton Real. The reason I called it real is because exactly that, it's fucking real. I can't stand just talking from theory and bullshit, so I called it real because it's exactly that. It is real from the industry, from a genuine place as well. You can't fake this shit. You can't fake jumping on a podcast or doing videos and doing YouTube videos and making that. It takes a lot of time to do all this stuff. You can't fake that stuff. So it's all real. It's the stuff that you need. It's the stuff that I wish that I had when I was younger. And the podcast specifically will come out every Monday. So set that up. It will be on iTunes, be live recorded as well on YouTube and Spotify, I believe. All the others, you'll find it. It's not a problem. But yeah, stick in. I look forward to doing a lot more of these and really unpacking some stuff. Hope you found this podcast useful and set up a tone for where it's going to go. But that's it for this one. I'll see you on the next one.